and I'd be delighted to teach a course in.
Oh, that's a done deal for sure. That's a must-have. Now, we've shared a bit about your professional life and your passions and the like. If we could divert a little bit now, just go after some stranger questions that are a bit more probing into your persona, if we may.
Sure.
How old do you feel?
Well, I feel about 20 or 30 years younger than I am. Probably like around 40 or so. You know, I'm more active. I danced this week for like 6 hours. I exercised for 3 hours. I went out dancing the other night. I feel pretty young. I feel like I can do anything that I could have done when I was younger, and actually a bit more than I could when I was younger, because I'm actually eating better. I'm in even better shape than I was when I was even 20.
Oh, you have an extraordinary energy. And that might be related to the strangest thing you've ever eaten.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not too good on trying strange foods, but when I was in Hawaii, they had 6 or 7 fruits that I'd never seen before that are Asian fruits. And I ate one of those with little bumps on them, and it tasted good, but I don't even know what it was.
What is your favorite food?
I'd have to say a good mango is hard to beat.
We have plenty of mangoes here. I'll save you a few in March.
Good.
Your favorite holiday destination?
I've got 2. I love Hawaii. I love the weather there, and I love the Caribbean and the beaches. I'm a beach person. I really love the water and the beach, and those are my favorite 2.
We'll organise one of those for you as well while you're here.
I'd love to scuba dive in the Barrier Reef if I could. Is that near Sydney?
It's a bit further north.
Okay.
You never know. The best movie you've seen?
Well, there are a lot of movies that I've liked over the years. But there's a series of short movies that came out of Korea called Save the Last Dance for Me that most people have never seen, that I thought was just delightful and inspiring.
Okay. And following that up with the best book you've read?
So one of the most influential books in my life was a book called Summerhill. It was a radical approach to child rearing and education. And the other one I'd have to say in my older life was a book by Jared Diamond called Guns, Germs, and Steel, where he gives the history of the world in 400 pages, and it really changed my whole worldview about how things came about in the world. Recommend it to anybody. It's kind of heavy reading, but it's brilliantly done.
Okay. And the most influential textbook that you've read?
Well, I've got to say Dr. Syriac's Textbook of Orthopedic Medicine, Volume 1 and 2, has certainly influenced my life dramatically.
Okay. And your first car?
My first car. They said you could keep a Volvo for 11 years, so I bought a red one and I kept it for 11 years. And it was a great car.
That was actually Tom Wye's first car too, incidentally.
Oh, really?
Yes.
We have a car.
What makes you laugh or what makes you smile?
Being around people that I love. I have a great sense of humor when I'm around people that I care about. And also, recently I've been around 2 small infants, and that makes me smile inside and out. Infants are wonderful to be around.
And on the reverse, what's the sort of things that make you cry?
When I'm heartfelt moved by someone that I care about, a friend or family member, when I feel things deeply that upset me, that I'm just very sad about, I cry as well.
Okay. And who would you most like to be for a day?
It might be Baryshnikov, a famous dancer who was pretty unbelievable, can do any style in the world. And I have a feeling about the world and the direction it's taking, and it's not a good direction in a lot of cases. So if I could be president for maybe a couple of weeks, not a day, maybe make some big changes in banking and how we care for the people who are least able to care for themselves, children, elderly, people who are sick, we don't really have a health care system in our world. We have a disease care system. And I'd like to see those kinds of things change in the world. But I think I would be routed out pretty quickly, because I'd like fairness, and I'd like people to really have an equal share, reasonable share, not have millions and billions of poor people and a few very wealthy people. I think it's great to have a lot of money, but it's also not so great to have it at the expense of others.
Agreed. And your favourite sport?
Sport I like to play is racquetball. And the sport I like to watch is basketball.
Okay. And any inspirational person or persons that's influenced you across the years?
Well, there have been many. Dr. Wilhelm Reich was a very, very powerful influence on me. Dr. Syriacs as well. I really have been inspired by Benjamin Franklin. He has my name, so that's nice. And he's kind of a wild man who is very creative, and I value creativity above most else. And also really am inspired by a man like the Dalai Lama. Really speaks from his heart and his gut, and a very sane person, which we don't have that many in very positions of power in the world.
And you touched on exercise a little bit earlier. What sort of exercise do you take, and what type and how often?
Well, there's a whole movement across the world called the Go Fit kind of movement. There are people who have discovered that there are really very primal movements that we do in our life, and none of them done in a machine. And so this whole business of exercising in a club with machines is something that I don't do and don't think very much of. We really have the movements of bending and pushing and pulling and squatting and lunging. There are only a few movements that make up everything else. So what I do is kind of what we call a primal movement exercise-based program that I do with my clients in addition to the active isolated stretching. And that's what I do, several times a week, usually 3 times a week. And I get AIS on my own body. I do this Go Primal exercises. And I do some of it, a little bit of it every day sometimes. The dancing is what I do for aerobics because I really sweat doing that.
Okay, yeah, okay. We might see if we can get a demonstration while you're down here.
Definitely.
Do you have a favourite life saying or a favourite motto that you live by?
Yeah, I had a couple that I knew that loved what they did. And they used to say, beats working for a living. And that's what I feel about my work, that people actually pay me for doing things that I love to do. So I say, it beats working for a living.
Oh, fantastic. Do you have any regrets?
I mean, I wish I'd done some things differently in my life, but on the whole, I'm really happy with who I am and where I've come and the people's lives who I've touched and have touched mine. And, I've got some private regrets, but they're very small. And I'm just happy to be alive and healthy.
Okay. And how would you like to be remembered? Not that you won't go for another 50 years or so, but what legacy would you like to leave?
If I go to another 50 years, that would be pretty good. I'll be pretty old. I'm pretty old now, but feel sort of young. I think the communications work that I've done, I'd like to make an impact on the way people communicate in the world in a more kind and compassionate way that's also strong and intelligent. I'd also like people to be aware that being healthy is a whole unit. It's about how you communicate. It's about how you eat. It's about how you exercise. It's about the relationships you have. It's how you treat people. All those things, how you treat yourself, how you love yourself or don't. So that's a lot of things to be remembered by, but I'd like to be a part of starting that process or join the other people in the world who started that process and just add this communications piece that I'm very passionate about.
Okay, fantastic. And if you were down to your last $10, how would you spend it?
The last $10. Well, if I was about to kick the bucket, I'd probably want a bag of M&Ms. I don't eat that kind of stuff because I know it's horrible for you, but it tastes good.
Okay. Well, it's been absolutely wonderful to speak with you, Ben. It's comforting to know that if we stick at our craft and hone our skills and continue to learn, we have a wonderful person to aspire to. So I sincerely thank you for paving the way for thousands and thousands of therapists around the world, and truly look forward to meeting you and seeing you in March 2013. So thank you, Dr. Ben Benjamin.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to seeing you in person and seeing your country and the people that are around you.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben.
You're welcome.